Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us in the Opsm podcast. On the left hand of our screen, we have Curtis Brewer. Curtis has his own podcast as well, Keeping It Simple. Curtis, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So what's up, guys? Curtis Brewer, co-host or co-founder of another soccer podcast. We're on Instagram, Anchor. We usually use Instagram as our main platform, but so basically every week we'll interview a pro. Usually they're either in MLS or over in England, and then sometimes if we're lucky, we get a giveaway from them. They'll send a jersey, a signed jersey over, and then we give it out to our fans and stuff.
Oh, that's pretty dope. And today we have Deano Morley, who's the head coach at Cape Breton University in Canada. So Deano, thank you for being a part of this podcast.
Absolute pleasure, and shame for Curtis. He's used to talking to pros, and today he's got me. So
I think you're a pro.
There you go, Deano. I feel like it's been 4 years or 3 to 4 years, since we've met, and it feels like just yesterday you were in the backseat of my car complaining about the cold winter in Ottawa, recruiting at our combine. But yeah, I guess the first thing I wanted to say was, how did the whole the football journey begin for you?
Oh, great question. I think it begins over in England when you're born. You're in that culture, very similar to what I see in hockey over in Canada. There's just a great passion about it. Immediately you want to be a footballer, and that's all you do at school, in the playground with your mates after school. It's all you know. So I think that's where it begins. But for me, I started to play at some good levels. I had some good opportunities and just loved it and loved what the game gave me and the places it took me. And then as I got into, 15, 16 years old, started to really find myself in the fact that I love working with kids. And I love coaching the game, and that really, started a new journey for me, Godwin, there.
So then in England, whereabouts did you live, or where in England did you live?
Nottingham.
Nottingham.
Nottingham, born and bred. So, my
Okay.
dad would take me down the old Nottingham Forest games on
Yeah.
the weekends, and all my family, friends are all Forest boys. So, yeah, just loved it, yeah.
So that's good. And so what was basically the reason why you got into football? Because, obviously the culture in England, it's different, but was there a mentor or somebody in place that, you wanted to, start coaching or start playing the game?
Yeah, I think I was blessed with a lot of great, youth coaches and people that impacted my life, whether that was in the school setting or in the community football setting. I remember one coach in particular, his name was David Willey, just an amazing impact he had on me as the way he treated people and the passion he had for football, and probably way ahead of his time too. Everything we did was small-sided and quick and possession-based, and it was just really good environment. But then, I went to college. I took a diploma in coaching and leadership, and then was working at a sport complex coaching, and an opportunity came to go to New York and coach at a sport camp there. So,
okay.
I went to New York, coaching there for a few years, and in my third year, got the director of football position at the sport camp, and that's where I really found the joy in planning, programming, building teams, improving other people in the game of football, and mentoring young coaches as well. Even though at the time I was probably only around 20, 21 myself, right? So, but yeah, I loved it, and then it just grew from there. And as I finished my playing career in Iowa. My wife is from Cape Breton. She wanted to come back here. So I came back here. I was very fortunate that post-graduation, I was offered the technical director position on the island. And it was an island where the game was really in an infancy. And I could really get out and grow the passion, grow the love of it, get kids involved, get people involved. And I just watched the game blossom and blow up. And so that was a joy in working with the game in a completely different side than the high level and the elite. It was taking it to the grassroots. And, I think what I found is that it made you think about all these skills and pieces of the game and tactics that you take for granted working at higher levels. You got to break them down to the fundamentals. Yeah. You know what? I think it made me better for it. So I loved it. And obviously that fed into where it took me with Cape Breton University.
That's right.
I did a little stalking of of you before this interview, but I saw that you were assistant coach from like 2007 to somewhere, I don't know where, but it said you were assistant coach, and then you became like a coach, and but before all the coaching, you were like a student athlete. Before all that, like what would you say like the biggest difference was being like an assistant coach now? I mean, before then, now being like a head coach of like a college soccer program.
Yeah, I was able to captain the team in that 2005, 2006, and then in 2007 stepped into a coaching role. I just actually finished my A license at the time in Canada. And the head coach at the time, who was, probably one of the best friends I've ever had in my life, one of the greatest mentors I ever had, Ravi Chesan. And, he just allowed me to come in as the assistant coach that year and run everything, run the training, put the principles of play in place, teach a different system. That was the first year we switched to a 4-3-3. We won a championship that year, so it was just a great start for me. And then when I got the head coach role in 2014, to answer your question around the biggest changes is that you're then in charge of the bigger picture. You've got to know what you want it to look like, not just on the field, but the culture, the environment, the rules, the standards, and then you got to look at the recruitment of the people into that. What sort of characters and people do I want in here, and how are we going to build a dynasty of success versus just a team that's going to do well this year. But you become a general manager, Curtis. You're managing budgets, you're purchasing equipment, you're building a team, and then you go back to trying to coach it and make people better. But I'm blessed with the coaching staff I was able to surround myself with, Curtis. In all honesty, I think we play our roles brilliantly. I think I'm the gaffer that is ruins all the fun, and I got a coach that makes everything fun. So
Balance it out.
Obviously, just touching base on the recruiting process and the recruitment. Talk to me a little bit more about, like, specifically on players that you look for on the sense of, talent wise and character wise, and what does Cape Breton University and Deano look for in a player?
Yeah, it's in many ways to answer that. I mean, of course, every coach is going to tell you that you have a big picture of what you want the team to be.
You just want the striker, the number 9. That's it. That puts the goal ball in there.
Every coach wants the number 9. That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, it's a case of bringing all these individuals together into something that's much greater than the sum of all its parts. It's everyone putting the roles together to build something that you have in your head. That's one side of it. More importantly for me is digging deeper into the people. I think a lot of young lads often, I think I have this conversation 10 times a week. A young lad, I get talking to them. They say, yeah. I say, what's your football ambition? I want to be a professional footballer. I say, okay, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. And, I think a lot of them love the glitz, the glamour, the idea of being a pro footballer. I like to dig into the fact of what that actually means, the work rate, the sacrifices, the dedication, the commitment that comes with that. And the way I like to frame it in our program is that winning is a habit. And we frame it, it's in a winning is a habit in everything we do, in the classroom, in the community, and in our personal time on the field. So it's about bringing in people that want to buy into coming to an environment where your two focuses are on academics and football. And if you have any ambition to be doing other things, messing around, if nightlife's important to you, if your own image is important to you, then you're not going to do well here. I want lads to come in and learn what it takes to be great. And that's doing it all the time. It's an environment that you have to build. So I try to find lads that want that, because then I know when they come here, they're here for that reason.
Yeah.
Committed. They want what I want. And I'm going to demand absolute everything out of them, push them. I'm going to support them, obviously, but, I'm going to demand greatness from them all the time. And we're a beautiful, small island community and campus, There's no room for guys who have other agendas.
Yeah.
I'm going to hear about it. I'm going to see it. I'm going to feel it, and it's going to impact the program and the community that I'm very proud of. So it's about getting good people, that want to become professional footballers after getting a great education, and who want to earn the right to go and be a pro footballer, not just a quick stepping stone.
Yeah. Speaking of greatness, I saw that you had a pretty impressive record over there. 56, 7, and 11. That's your record in like the Atlantic University sport. And you also, I think you said you helped them capture this first U Sports National Championship in 2017. So like that's pretty impressive. Like how would you say you felt after knowing like you helped them get with such like achievement?
It was beautiful, really, so rewarding, but it was just it was the process, and we've been blessed now. We've won the last 4 Atlantic Championship titles. We've medaled at the last 3 national finals, but that the winning comes of a subset of doing everything else right. And what I wanted to do was I want football in Canada to be better. I want youth sports to be better. I want best Canadian players to look at the youth sports system and say, that's where I want to be, and I think we have a lot of great young lads that are drawn to the glitz and glamour of NCAA marketing and the stuff in America. I want it to be better here, and I believe it is, and I want to build a program that provides that opportunity to lads to come in and play brilliant football, get great development, and have opportunities to go on. And with the CPL now on the pathway, I think we're really there. But yeah, to answer your question, it was just, I want to be at the top of the pile. We want to be number 1 in Canada. We work hard for it, and we want to be there every year. And I think that drive and passion passes on to the players. They certainly fuel me with that passion. And we do goal setting. And yeah, when we achieved it over in Kamloops, which was an incredibly hard journey to go out west and get all the late night games, the time difference, it was cold, but to pull it off and win it and then get to the final the following year and have the chance to go back to back was pretty incredible.
Well, that's good. And Curtis, thanks for touching on the record. What I wanted to touch base on that is, obviously changing a program at Cape Breton and being able to win the championship in 2017 and continue to be, top 4 university. Talk to me about the mindset that you carry over to these athletes and the mindset they have to have in order to play at Cape Breton and to be champions, I guess.
Yeah, it's the little things, I think I'm a little old school. It's the little things for me on how we present ourselves. I don't like headphones. I don't like chains hanging out. I don't like hats. I like us to look brilliant all the time. I have no tolerance for late punctuality, people making excuses. So we just, all of that has to be left at the door when you arrive here. The way I like to think of myself as a football man and my coaching staff is that we truly go into every single drill and training session with such intensity that it has to be what we are in the game. I want that from the players all the time. Because they arrive, I think footballers arrive, preseason or something, they arrive full of piss and vinegar and testosterone. They want to show the best, everyone's gun ho, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And I want to keep that going, all year. I never want the energy to drop. Every time we arrive, I call them my playing staff. When we cross the white line, we are at work. And every lad must earn everything they get. So I think the only way you can do that is if, everyone's treated the same. You can't have the system where there's fifth-year guys and first-year guys.
Yeah.
You have a system where it's got to be earned and the right people play. Rain Lynn coming in last year from Ontario, I said to myself, lovely, good little player. I wonder how he's going to do. Probably going to take a couple of years, I think after 4 training sessions, this guy was a starter. I'm saying, okay, he is in. Just because of the way he worked, his work ethic all the time. So, I got to work really hard. My assistants got to work hard. The leaders of the program that have been there have to keep standards in place. But I really, truly believe, Godwin, that it's about accountability. It's about standards. It's about discipline. And then what you get from that is ownership. And I love my players to have ownership of their journey.
That's perfect. I also wanted to talk about, obviously, you touched base on the CPL, and obviously this is a great development for the kids and something to look for kids in Canada to make that next jump. But before I want to talk about that, I wanted to talk about what's your thoughts on the whole aspect of, like, increasing the collegiate season. You know what I mean? Instead of a I think it's a 2 month season or so, being able to, make that a longer season. And then, that can maybe be a better transition for players to play into the next step, whether that's the CPL.
Yeah, of course. What a great conversation. And we're blessed here that we have an indoor training center. So, our program internally feels year-round operation. I think it's just there's no easy answer to that, Godwin. Based on the climate, based on the conditions, based on the infrastructure of having full-size indoor facilities through the winter months. I think there's some top pieces there, but I think in conference, you see Quebec doing it more and more. Being able to play competition in the winter. I think in the AUS now we have a full-size indoor in Halifax that we're having conversations around how we extend that as well, where we can play off season, exhibition and play. But a tough conversation. Yeah.
And then explain to me how important it is now having the CPL for a lot of these young top players in Canada playing in youth sports.
And it's unbelievable, and I can't speak high enough of the relationship between youth sports and the CPL to create the professional development contract. I don't think we see that anywhere else in the world, where lads can come in, be playing at the youth sport level, earning their degree, and in the summer be able to go and play and experience professional football.
That's amazing.
And then come back and continue their education without consequence. It's tremendous opportunity. So, I look at a lad like Peter Schell. After his third year, he had gone down. He been the captain of Halifax Wanderers.
Yeah.
Offered the pro contract to stay, but comes back, completes his education, has that degree behind him now for life. Yeah. And then goes back and signs the pro contract after graduation. So I think we have a tremendous pathway, Godwin. I'm someone that's always going to advocate the fact that I think that Soccer Canada, I think, has to recognize youth sports more as an identified pathway. I think we need it in this country. I think it needs respect. I think we've got great coaches. I think we've got great leagues, some great players. I think the CPL have learned that now, that how many players from youth sports have been able to step in and impact at that level. But youth sports provides a great platform for these players. The development contract is a great opportunity for these players. And if I was a young Canadian now, I would be saying to myself, I can stay here. I can do this. I can make a name for myself. I think we sell dreams a lot of the time around going to Europe. Lads going over to Europe, getting this trial, I think every lad I talk to in Canada has been on trial somewhere, I'm sure of it, Been here, or they say, no, I don't want to go to university. I want to be a pro. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. Okay. Yeah. You know what? We need in Canada to look after our young players and people better.
Yeah.
Believe in the product we have in this country, believe in the CPL we have in this country. And then it should coexist and align with our national team programs. And, I'll always advocate that we need to do more around this player pathway.
Yeah. So I'm still doing a lot of research on you as you were talking. I'm kind of searching through you a little bit. I saw, speaking of CPL, I saw that you are like the potential candidate for the Edmonton FC, like a head coach job. What's your take on that?
No, I think it's been nice rumors. There's been some chatter on Twitter. So again, my response to that is that I just think it's great that I was one of several youth sport coaches named as having the potential pedigree to coach at that level. That's good. That's what youth sport should be recognized. Some of the coaches in this level should be recognized as some great coaches. Some former national team coaches coaching the youth sports level. So brilliant people. I feel very, very honored to have my name associated with that. Of course, it's you always want to be in those conversations because that's, I think any coach wants to coach at the highest levels, of course.
Would you say it's safe to say, in the future, in your coaching career, that the next step would to take that professional jump, or do you still see yourself, staying at the collegiate level?
Well, let's not wait till they, let's hope they don't wait till I'm gray and can't run anymore. And I think that's what they like, they will wait till he burns out. No, like, of course I have that ambition,
Yeah.
I love the CPL. I'm a big advocate for it. I loved last year going down to the Halifax Wanderers game, the passion of the crowds, what it's doing for the city, what it's doing for the young people. Yeah, I say, yeah, that's fantastic. I'm completely happy here. I've got so many goals I still want to achieve here. I love working with this age group of players. I love being in a position to provide an opportunity to these young players. And a story that captivated me this last week, the sad story was, the 17-year-old lad from Man City, we saw that break on the news. And I sit there thinking to myself, man, how many lads have I brought over, that 17, 18 that have been in the same position as him? They were released. I could talk about Corey Bent. I could talk about Charlie Waters, Marcus Campanile. The list goes on and on of these lads that were released from clubs and find themselves with nothing. It's what am I going to do? And then you're in a position like mine, so fortunate to be able to find these lads and give them this opportunity to continue to use football to better their life, to get an education, to come to a new country. And then I see a lad like Corey now having that chance to go play pro. You say, wow, how rewarding is that you've been a part of changing somebody's life in that way. So I love it here. I absolutely love it here. But I'm somebody that's full of ambition. I think I set high goals, want to be the best. I think if I took on a CPL club, I'd do it wanting to win everything.
Yeah.
The CONCACAF would be the goal, never mind the CPL. But that's just the way I think you have to drive yourself. So we'll see what the future holds, Gavin.
I love it. As we're nearing to our end of our podcast, usually at the end of our podcast we do a game. So we're gonna put you on the spot, Dino. Okay, so we're gonna put you on the spot. So basically, we're gonna create a starting 11 for you, and you're gonna have to pick between the two players that we picked from, starting from the back line. Sounds good.
You have to Google these players quick. I might like.
Well, you know them. They're big names. They're big names. So starting from the center back position, who would you rather have, Rio Ferdinand or John Terry?
John Terry.
John Terry. Wow. John Terry. How come John Terry, and why?
Because I'm hoping the guy you're going to put next to him is technically gifted, and I can just have that hard-nosed center back. I got a feeling where this is going. I want to have a center back that's great in the air, does the dirty work, so the guy next to him can play. So let's see who you give me next to him.
Okay, perfect. So in the midfield, before I go back, in the midfield, would you rather have Andre Iniesta or Zidane?
Ooh, great choices. I think the whole world's gonna go Zidane, so I'll go the other guy.
You're gonna go.
I'm shaking up a little bit. No, I love him. He's a great little technician. I like the underdog guys,
Yeah. Okay. In your front line, who would you rather have, Wayne Rooney or Harry Kane?
Come on, you Spurs. Come on.
Wayne Rooney or Harry Kane? Wow. You want me to go with the Spurs guy?
No, do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
I'm Wayne Rooney all day, every day.
Love it.
Oh my God.
Wayne Rooney. Okay. In your midfield line again, between Steven Gerrard, Paul Scholes, or Frank Lampard?
Scholes, you mean?
So, you didn't even hesitate.
No, you can't hesitate on that one.
You didn't even hesitate.
I love him. Brilliant footballer. Yeah. I play him tomorrow.
Oh, you play him too? No, but awesome. Dino, I appreciate you being a part of this podcast. Thank you so much. And obviously in the future, we're looking forward to seeing Cape Breton in action in next fall. So thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Oh, listen, thank you for everything you're doing for the game in Canada, and love working with you and knowing you, and the opportunity you're providing to young lads is unreal. So thank you for having us be a part of it, and I hope that we can get many young lads to us and help them on the pathway.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you, Curtis, too.
It's a lot. Nice meeting you.
Take care.
Thank you.